Hello and welcome to Wise Women Wednesdays. My name is Jennifer Regular, and I am the Soul Illuminator at Lighting the Path, where I get to help thought leaders, creatives, and visionaries direct the life that they're meant to live so that they can create global impact, make the impossible possible, and fulfill their life mission. But I also do this. I get to be the host of Wise Women Wednesdays, where I get to bring inspiring messengers from all around the globe to share their wisdom and the strength for the journey to really help you become who you came here to be and do what you came here to do. And today I welcome Jenn Rosner from Los Angeles. Jenn has spent most of her life afraid, living in the shadows, hiding, existing instead of living. She was always at war with herself, which created lots of mental chaos and exhaustion. These things put her on a journey of self-discovery and healing through therapy, energy work, belief clearing, self-improvement books, courses, schooling. But through all of that, she still felt like something was missing, something fundamentally wrong with her. It wasn't until she found this work that she finally was able to let go of the idea that she was not broken. Now, her mission is to help others let go of their limitations, their ideas and beliefs that are holding them back from reaching their fullest potential and becoming the best version of themselves. She believes you can be exactly who you are and create anything you desire because success isn't personal, it's structural. And she wants you to know that you are not broken. Jenn, what a journey you've been on and tried all the things and then you found this. What is this that has produced much more satisfaction and love and joy in your life?
Well, I got certified as a magnetic mind coach. And the whole thing is success is not personal, it's structural. And so really when I talk about structure, I'll start with this explaining what structure is, just to give people an understanding. So you can have a piece of wood and you can take that wood and you can make a house. You can take that same wood, you can make a canoe, and that same wood you can make a rocking chair, right? Same wood, different configurations of it. So structure is anything that makes up a whole, right? It's all the parts that make up a whole. So if you take the wood, build a house, you try to move the house, you try to pick up the house, push the house, it's not going anywhere. It's a stuck structure, it's stuck. You take a canoe, it's a flowing structure, right? You pick it up, you can move it, it flows, it goes on the water, it just moves. The rocking chair is an oscillating structure, right? It's just going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth all the time. That's what it does. And so structure has integrity, right? And so it doesn't matter where you put the rocking chair. You can put it in the forest, on a car, on a plane. It's always going to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. That's the structure of the rocking chair. So when we're talking about success being okay, hold on one second. See, even I still get nervous. I'm, focusing on the right structure here. So when we're talking about the different structures, right? Most of us are in the problem-oriented structure, okay? Which means that we believe that the future will be better when, right? The future will be better when I have money. The future will be better when I lose weight. The future will be better when I'm in a great relationship. Whatever it is, the future will be better when. And this puts us with an identity of the now is not good enough, and that I need to fix myself to have what I want. And because of this identity, the identity of the person who has these things, different identity completely, right? And so the unconscious or identity is moving towards the thing you want. But as it gets closer to this changing, it starts freaking out. Because it's like, that's not me. I've never had that before. I don't know that that's safe. And it starts freaking out and starts pulling you backwards. And so this is why we have the oscillating structure, a lot of us. If you think about yo-yo dieting, you start losing the weight, exercising, and then one day you're like, well, I don't need to go to the gym today. I don't need to eat this, healthy today. And you start sliding backwards. You end up where you started, and maybe even more, right? And this happens to us. And so, because we're in the problem-oriented structure. So I need to fix myself. There's something wrong with me. I'm broken. Go about healing, fixing, doing all the work. Move toward your desired end result. Sabotaging patterns kick in. Reaffirms that you're broken, that you need to fix yourself. And so you go round and round and round and round, and you never end
making
up
yourself dizzy.
Making yourself dizzy. You're on a hamster wheel, right? And you start blaming yourself and thinking, well, what's wrong with me? Why can't I do it? You know, I've done all the things. I've read all the books. I've done all the courses. I've done all the schooling. I've done all the healing, right? You know, maybe if I learn one more, you know, thing, if I clear one more subconscious belief, then maybe I have what I want. But it's coming from the wrong structure, because I still believe that the future will be better when, and this will fix everything for me. So that's the problem-oriented structure. Most of us, we're all born into it. We don't know any other way. Advertisers, you know, do you want to lose weight? Take this pill, do this, do this, do this. You know, it's taught to us. You have to, in order to go for what you want, you have to want to get away from something or fix something or do whatever to have what you want. You can't just go for something because you love it, right? And so the creative structure is you go for something because you would love to have it, period. Like, I would love to be healthy because I want to be healthy. I would love to live a life that I love just because I want to. Then you step into it, right? And so you say, what would it be like if I had it now? And you let your body know what it would feel like now to have it. So you let your identity, your current identity, know that it's safe to have it. Then you look at, then you look at where you are currently, your current reality. And you figure out, what's the difference? Why am I here instead of here? And what's in the way? What's keeping me from taking the action steps I need to take? And that's when you really look at all these things, these habits, these patterns, these emotions, traumas that have been passed down to us from 7 generations back, beliefs that have been passed to us from 7 generations back, all this stuff that's in the way of you taking the action, right? And that's all the stuff we blame ourselves for. We think it's us. But the thing is, it's not us. It's just the stuff that's in the way. And so it's like, okay, so this is coming up right now. Interesting. Now, you know, you clear it. You can heal it. You can do processes, meditations, whatever it is you need to do to clear it. But you clear those things, and then you take the action step. And then you're in a different current reality, right? So what I want to create, where am I now? I'm still not where I want to be. So that, you know, what's in the way of taking the action step? What's in the way? What's in the way? Keep clearing, clearing, clearing. But you're always moving forward. You're always in this flowing structure, because your focus is on the end result of what you want to create, just because you would love to have it. No other reason other than that.
Right. And then you're naturally drawn to that kind of destination. So you're moving to anything that's going to help support that new structure, that new reality. Awesome. So then how do you discover that, Jen? How do you discover that you're not broken? So what you're saying then is that there's nothing for us to fix, really. It's just stepping into embodying our truth and our reality that we're creating based on what we love, right? Is that what you're saying?
It's based on what we love, but it's also understanding. So we understand the human journey as well. So the human journey is that before we're born, we're in our mom's womb, we're taken care of completely. We're loved, we're fed, we're nurtured. Everything is given to us automatically. We don't have to do anything for it. Then we're born, and all of a sudden it's like, what happened? You know, 1 second it's nice and warm and cozy. Now it's cold, and I don't have it anymore. And so we create this, it creates this wounding in us. And we have to decide, like, well, what did I do? I must have done something to make this go away. And so we create these beliefs, and these beliefs become our view of the world. It's like, okay, so now I understand, if I want love, I have to do this. If I want to be fed, I have to cry. You know, and so we make these ideas that, okay, in order to get this, we have to do this. If I don't want to be yelled at, I can't do this, and all these things. And we create these ideas, and then we start living our life from these ideas. And so what we have to come back to remember is that we're still this pure creative spirit. We never stopped being this pure creative spirit. We just want to have a human experience. And so when you have this awakening, remembering of who you are, that you are this pure creative spirit, you're just having this human experience. And you understand that you're always creating, whether it's consciously creating or unconsciously creating based on these beliefs that you created, right? That you decided on when you were little. Because you did decide on these, because you made these choices about the beliefs of why this happened to you, right? So you created those. And so you remember that I'm always creating. So if I'm always creating, it's about learning to consciously create now. You know, is this something I want? Well, no. Okay, so if I am a conscious creator of my life, what would I want to create? And you start thinking about, okay, so if I could have anything, because as pure creative spirit, you're everything, right? You don't have to do anything to get anything. You're whole, you're complete. The only reason that you can't experience it as this pure creative spirit is because you can't experience everything, you know, because everything is everything, right? So you have to have this duality of good and bad and happy and sad and all this when you come down to the human experience. so you know what things are, to experience things. And that's really what we want. We want to experience life. We want to experience things. And so we remember that we are this pure creative spirit.
Absolutely.
And that's actually one of the choices that I work with. The core 4 orientational choices to get you in the right structure is I choose the end result of being the predominant creative force in my life. And you can use the 5 steps to actually step into that as well, right? What would that be like to be the creative? So sorry.
Okay. It's okay.
Pure creative spirit in your life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And you choose that, and then where my current reality? Well, I'm focusing on all this stuff. Well, what's in the way? Why am I doing that? Clear this stuff out, take the action step, take the action step, take the action step until you embody that.
Right. Right. So there's different ways that we can orient ourselves then. You mentioned there was 4 ways. What would those ways?
Yeah, so there's four core orientational choices. Right? There's I choose to be the predominant creative force in my life. I choose to live a life that I love. I choose to live my true nature and purpose, and I choose full health and vitality, or a supportive and healthy body, something like that. Those are going to get you oriented in the right structure, because there's no other reason why you would want those things except for that you would just want them, right? So you step into those, and then as you step into those, you're able to have your focus that this is where you want to go, and this is a reminder that this is where your focus is. And anytime you start to focus on something else, you have the choice. Where am I focusing? Am I focusing on this? Or am I focusing on this, right? Am I focusing on being the predominant creative force in my life and what I want? Or am I focusing on problems? Am I focusing on trying to get something? Am I focusing on this, you know?
Yes, yes, yes. And so how did you come across this work on your journey, Jen? Where did this show up for you?
Well, I was a massage therapist and I was doing really well, but it was becoming very imperative that it was hard on my body. And this was really the only thing that I finished school-wise, and the only thing I was really good at was massage therapy. And so I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do now, right? I have no idea. And so
what else is possible?
Right? What else is possible? I don't know. So I asked the universe, I'm like, universe, please show me, help me. I don't know what to do. And so then I came across this guy, Chris Duncan, my mentor, and he's like, you're not broken. You can be anything you are and still create anything and everything you want, because success is not personal, it's structural. And there was just something about it that just clicked. It was like I didn't really get it, I didn't understand it, and I'm like, well, you can't be right. But it's like on a soul level, I knew that he had something. And so I started studying with him and learning with him, and it just made sense, you know. And it's like, well, okay, so these things that I tell myself, they're just beliefs, you know. A lot of them I picked up, a lot of them I learned from my family that have been passed down from generation to generation. But are they the truth, right? Are they still serving me? I can choose something different, right? So I'm not stuck, right? I'm not stuck. That's not who I am. I'm the predominant creator. I create everything. I'm the one who creates everything. And so what do I want to create? And if I'm not having the experience I want, it's not my fault. It's my responsibility, but it's not my fault per se, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It's just an experience I'm having.
Oh, that's interesting. Yes. That it's not my fault. Yeah. But you have the choice to create new conditions that will give rise to what it is you truly want to experience in your life. The right conditions that come through our beliefs.
Yes.
And how we orient ourselves with those beliefs in creating the kind of reality, the kind of life experiences that we choose to have. And what can make that difficult? Is it just our beliefs?
No, I mean, it's a lot more than just our beliefs. I mean, it's the body is used to being in this identity. You know, and also, you know, when we have a feeling, that feeling has a certain chemical cocktail attached to it. So that chemical cocktail is getting sent to the body all the time, right? And so our body gets addicted to that chemical cocktail, and the cells of the body get addicted to that chemical cocktail. So we spend years in lack and fear and worry and doubt and shame and blame and guilt and fear and all these things. Our body's getting a steady dose of that like 24/7. Right. So what happens is that we decide we want to heal, we decide we want to feel better, we decide we want something different. And we start telling ourselves different things, different thoughts, creating different feelings, but our body's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? All of a sudden, I'm not having the same feeling. I'm not having the same chemical cocktail. My body's like, where's my dose of lack? Where's my dose of, you know, anxiety and fear and worry, right? And it starts literally like freaking you out, and it starts pulling you backwards. It's like finding anything it can to have you go back into that feeling, because it's safe and that's what it knows.
It's
And
like
so,
literally getting hooked on those feelings and those
yeah,
chemical cocktails, right?
yeah,
And that
yeah,
keeps pulling you back. Yeah.
yeah. Because it's like in the body, that's what's safe to the body. That's what the body knows. That's how it's been feeling. That's how it's been living. That's what's safe to it. We're alive, right? And so what happens is that you have to reprogram the body. You have to meditation every single day, visualization every single day on your choices, on where you want to go, to
Mm.
allow your body to feel that every single day until it gets to the point where your body's like, okay, now I get it. We've been getting a steady dose of the chemicals of being, free and love and abundant. So, eventually your body starts getting addicted to those chemicals. And then
Yeah.
once it gets addicted to those chemicals, you take different actions, right? Because you're taking actions from the feeling.
Right, right. So it's just like having to go to the gym, right?
Yes.
When we go to the gym, we're, not expecting results right away. We got to keep going on a regular basis to build those muscles, that strength, the tone that we're after, that we're envisioning and want to create once we've made that decision that we want that. And so we go and we start to create that by going on a regular basis. The same thing in spiritual mastery. It's like going to
Yes.
the spiritual gym then, right? We
Yes.
have
Yes.
to,
It's totally.
yes, keep practicing and to strive for progress and not perfection either,
No.
because we don't want to create more pressure and more lack that we're not good enough because we're not doing it enough or we're doing something wrong. So how can you help someone like that? Like they're meditating every day, but maybe they're worried about if they're doing it right or they're not getting the kind of experience that other people are having, for example, or maybe they don't have time to fit it into their day. How can they incorporate the practice that they need to on such a regular basis? How do they begin
Uh,
that?
well, having a morning routine, starting out with a morning routine, stepping into the core
Hmm.
4 orientational choices every morning, even if it's just for a couple minutes,
Okay.
stepping into them, feeling what that would feel like to orientate yourself. So this is where I'm coming from, right?
Right.
Then, you have your secondary choices. Like I choose a vacation. I choose, a wonderful job that I love. I choose a relationship that I love, whatever it is. And so you pick one or two every morning and you step into those as well, right? And you do the meditation. And then, you do a gratitude because you want to be it now. So you want to look for ways where you already have these things,
Right. Yes.
in the moment. And then it becomes looking at, okay, so what is the next obvious action step that I need to take, to get me to where I need to go? So maybe, if you're trying to lose weight, what's the next obvious action step? Maybe instead of buying that lunch at McDonald's, I'm going to bring my lunch to work today. Maybe it's I'm going to bring my clothes in the car and I'm going to go to the gym after work instead of like going home first and then changing or whatever it is. You ask yourself what the next obvious action step is, and then really when the resistance comes, you say, well, I don't want to do that, because that's going to come. You're
Hmm.
going to, because your identity is fighting you. It's like, I don't want to do that. That's when really you look at the processes and you say, well, what's the reason why I don't want to do this? It's the resistance. It's what's telling me that I can't do it. So you clear those resistance out through, journaling, meditation, just talking, just being become aware of the thoughts that you're thinking right now, whatever process it is, hypnosis, therapy, whatever, energy healing. And then once you clear that, then you can take the next action step and you're able to take the action step. And so that's really what it's about. It's a structure, right? It's a 5-step structure. When you can't do the action, it's not because of you. It's because there's something that's in the way. But that
Right.
thing is not you.
So
It's
just
just
bringing that awareness, that mindfulness to that resistance.
yeah.
Yeah.
And understanding that, we created this resistance to serve us, because sometimes, like maybe in your childhood, when you were in school, you had to do a presentation and
Mm.
you just bombed and you were like made fun of. So now, anytime like you're going to be in a situation where that might happen, there's going to be resistance popping up because it's going to stop you. It's like, you were hurt really bad. We're not doing that again.
Mm.
And so that resistance pops up to save you. And it may not serve you now, but it served you then. And so it's just a matter of realizing that I created this to serve me, but it's not serving me anymore. It's not serving me right now. Right? So it's understanding that it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, we don't necessarily need the same kind of protection that we might have needed in the past. We're different
Mm-hmm.
people now, different experiences, different people around us, and that level of protection might not be as needed as it once was. and to have a look at that and see how we can show up more
Yeah.
courageously, right? And
Yes.
approach life with more curiosity, courage, and compassion, which is
Yes.
a wonderful approach to take. And then to orient yourself to those four things that you mentioned is also a way to get into that mindset, to create that mindset and mindfulness, and bringing that more and more into your days until it becomes just natural and normal.
Yes.
And then you can
Yes.
take the next safe step forward and continue
Right.
to evolve, right? Continue that
Yeah,
spiritual
and then
mastery.
you can create something else, right? You just keep creating, you know?
Yes,
What's
yes.
next? What's next? What's next?
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And then, but it sounds like there's a lot of mind work. So how do you bring it in? How do you anchor it in to the physical?
Well, meditation again, because
Mm-hmm.
meditation is a very physical thing, you know, because it's literally shifting the neural pathways and reprogramming the
Ah,
neural
okay.
pathways
Mm-hmm.
to allow your body to feel differently. And when your body feels differently, you show up differently. Right?
Right. Yes.
So it's that. There's other things you can do, like actual anchoring. It's a process where, so there's scientist Pavlov, and what he did was that he did experiments with dogs where he would ring a bell and then he would feed the dog. And then he would ring a bell and feed the dog and ring a bell and feed the dog. And what he realized is that all of a sudden he would ring the bell before he could even put the food down. The dogs would start salivating because they had linked the sound of the bell with food, and they're physiologically linked it, right? Their body was like, oh, I'm getting food now. And so you
Yes.
can use that same technique to feel whatever it is you want to feel, right? You can create, like, let's say you want to feel calm, right? So you can say, okay, so I'm going to put an anchor now. Every time I do this feeling, this movement here, I'm going to link this movement to the feeling of calm.
Mm.
And so once you link that up, your body is physiologically linked to that feeling. And so you do this, your body's like, okay, calm, right? And you can do that with any feeling, right? And so that's another way to really get in the process and the habit of controlling your state at any given moment.
Oh, that's
You know?
perfect. That's beautiful,
Yeah.
Jen. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So that's a wonderful way. And are there other ways that you would suggest that people use, or ways that you use in your work? Tell us a little bit more about your work.
So I do coaching, group, and individual, and it's really all about holding people accountable to being in their structure, and letting go of their stories, letting go of what's not true, because we
Right.
tell ourselves things all the time and we think that they're true, right? Our reality, okay, we think it's our reality, right? But our reality is not a reality. Our reality is what we perceive and how we perceive a certain stimuli, right? And that's based on, there's a stimuli, and then it goes through our filters, our beliefs, our habits, our emotions, what we've learned, our traumas, all these things. And instantaneously, we create a representation of that. And that's how we experience this event, right? And so what happens is that becomes a reality, but it's our perception of reality. So we can just change our perception of reality to fit what we want to have. Right? I mean, if you go to Starbucks and you see a guy with tattoos and he's ordering a drink, one person's like, oh my gosh, that guy has tattoos. He just came from jail. I'm so scared. What's he going to do? Like, it's dangerous. Another person's like, cool tattoos, man. I love it, right? What's the reality? Or either one of those true? I don't know. Reality is just at Starbucks ordering a drink. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is their perception.
Just the facts. Yeah.
Just the facts, right? Everything else is their perception of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can choose. When you realize you create it all, you can choose your perception. How do you want to view something? How do you want to act from this place?
Yeah, so that inner work is very important as well.
It's the inner work as well, but it's also getting in the right structure. So, going back to starting, first thing, what do you want to create?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to create? Where are you now? Now let's look at what's in the way, because then you're not healing anymore, right? You're really just looking at what's keeping you from getting here, but your focus is here. So that's the key. It's really getting people in the structure all the time and understanding the structure is everything. Structure is the most important thing.
Right.
Everything else will fall into place, right? All these things will come up automatically, because when you start wanting to take action for things that you've never done before, automatically stuff's going to come up because you've never done it before. So anxieties are going to come up, fears are going to come up, all these reasons why I can't have this is going to come up, all these, I'm not perfect, I shouldn't do this, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm not worthy, maybe I'm, maybe if I do this, I'm not going to belong anymore. Those things are going to come up as you're starting to take the action. But instead of, letting them take you out, you just realize that, okay, this is good, there's movement, they're coming up. So what's the truth now? What's the truth? If I take this, is it going to affect my belonging? Well, no, because, as a predominant creative force in my life, I belong, period, in the story, right? Am I good enough? Well, of course I'm good enough. I've maybe done this before in the past. Like, this is just, I'm afraid. I'm afraid I'm not good enough, but that's not the truth, right? And so you start looking at all these things and asking yourself, what's the truth? Is this the truth? And when you realize that it's not necessarily the truth, you've been viewing things from your problem orientation. You start flipping and viewing them from the creative orientation, the genius, your genius, right? You're the creator, so what's the truth?
Mm-hmm.
And then from that place, you're like, okay, well, what do I do with this now? Do I want this belief? Is this belief serving me? And do I want to take action from this belief, or do I want to take action, contrary action that's against this belief? And even though it's hard, I know that this belief is not true, and I say take the action anyway, right? Because this is where I want to be, and this is where I'm going. So it's like a kid, your kid, you're taking the wheel away from your kid. You've been letting your kid drive your car for so long. It's like, you can throw a temper tantrum, kid, and you can drive the car, but we're going to take you away from the wheel. Throw the temper tantrum in the back now. It's okay. I'm going to drive now. You know what I mean? Like, it can still be there, but I'm going to drive. I'm going to take control now.
It makes me think of a quote by Vincent van Gogh that was, if you hear a voice inside your head that says you're not a painter, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's exactly like that. So how can people get in touch with you, Jen, if they want to work with you and start creating these structures for their lives?
Well, I'm on Facebook, Conscious Law of Attraction on Facebook, or Jenn Rosner on Facebook. I believe you have my Linktree page that you'll put on my thing, and then I'm also on Sacred You, sacredyou.com. It is a group of women, empowering women. I'm a tribe leader on there, so you can join that, and you can become part of my tribe and other people's tribes, and really get connected on there as well.
Oh, wonderful. So you're all over, and we're going to have those links in the show notes so that people can just click on them, get connected with you, get connected with Sacred You, and be able to find you and start working through these mindset changes as you coach them through it and get reoriented to the life that they're really can thrive in.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to share with the audience today, Jen?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, it's not about how often that you focus, right? It's about how often you refocus when you fall off. And things are going to come up, and things are going to be hard, and things are going to be difficult, and you're going to make mistakes because that's just the way that life is. So it's really about having compassion for yourself and understanding that on the journey to where you're going, if you've never done it before, you're learning, and it's all feedback. It's all just feedback. So if you're taking an action and it's not an action that you gained you what you wanted, it's not personal. It's just like, okay, well, that action didn't work. It's just that action, right? So now maybe I just need to take a different action. And so then you meditate and you get into the right structure again. You step into, what it is you're trying to create, and you ask yourself, what action should I take now? And be guided by that, and be guided by also, the values of the person you're becoming, because the person you're becoming has a different set of values than the person you are now. And so you really get clear on those values, and then those become like your guideposts. It's like, okay, so I value, being committed. So no matter what, I'm going to show up, even if I show up and I'm, showing up stumbling, and, showing up, scared, or showing up, unprofessional, whatever it is, you're still showing up. So you're a person who's committed, you're a person who shows up. And the more that you do that, you're telling your body that you're a person who shows up, and then you can keep going into that thing. You do it better. The next time you show up, you realize you can show up, so then you show up a little bit better, you show up a little bit better, you show up a little bit better, you show up a little bit better. But you just keep going. And you realize it's just, you're just working through stuff. That's it. You're working through a whole bunch of stuff that you've lived your life listening to your whole, 20, 40, 50, 60 years. So it takes time. It takes time to work through this. It takes time to reprogram, but it's just knowing that it's not you, and just having that knowledge that it's not you. It's stuff you've learned, it's stuff you've been told, but it's not you.
Yes, and to keep moving forward, as you say, just keep going, taking that next step. It'll move you forward, and it doesn't have to take you back.
Yeah.
When you orient yourself in the right direction.
Yeah, when you orient yourself in the creative orientation, it's always forward movement. It's not always going to be fast, but it's always movement. It's no more of this back and forthness anymore, because the structure is, has integrity. So,
Yes, has integrity. I love that. Jan, thank you so much for reminding us that we are not broken, that we are spiritual beings having this human experience, and there are ways that we can really maximize our time here.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And thank you, all of you who have been listening and watching today on the podcast on Wise Women Wednesdays. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.